In this video, we will see 5 tips and tricks which allows us to write better SQL. For that, we will be going to use a table called as customer order table. Let me query the table and let us simply see the schema. So we have the customer order table which consists of 3 columns. The first column is customer name, the second column is order ID, and the third column is status, whether the order is delivered, submitted or created. And our first tip is based on the status column. So here I will show an alternative way to write case statement. So this is how we normally write a case statement. So what we are trying to achieve here is I'm taking all the records from the current customer order table, and then I am writing a case statement for a new column, which is the new status column, where case when status is equal to delivered, then the column should be populated by D. Sorry, the row value should be D. Then if the status is submitted, then it should be S, and when it is created, it should be C. But this case statement is actually redundant compared to what we are going to see. So let us see how to write the case statement in a better way. Let me copy this query. Let us paste it here, and I'm going to modify the same query. Let me remove this when from the case statement, that is case status. Then instead of writing the when statement before the status column, we will remove the when statement from the new case statement, and we will remove this equal to as well, and we'll place this when statement before the particular column value. Similarly, we will remove this status equal to from all the separate lines for the case statement. Now let us run this query and see what is the result. We will get the exact same result where we have a new column where delivered is changed to D, submitted is changed to S, and created is changed to C. And if we compare both the queries, we can see that we don't have to write this status equal to multiple times in the new case statement. Instead, we have to only mention the status column once, and apart from that, only mention the value for that particular status column and then provide the new value. So this is our first tip. Also, this syntax is very similar to the syntax that we see in Tableau calculated field. So this syntax is similar to the case statement that we write in Tableau. Coming down, we will see our second tip. This tip is also very similar to what we saw above, but in a different manner. So here, implementing Boolean logic using IIF instead of case statement. So here, we are writing a case statement based on the same column, which is the status column. So case when status equal to delivered, then is delivered. So whatever be the other value, it should be in transit. So basically, there are only two values, either is delivered or in transit. So we don't have to write this lengthy case statement. Instead, what we can do is, I have already wrote the query, select co dot star, which means we are selecting all the columns. Instead of the case statement, we are writing the if statement, that is IIF. Inside the parenthesis, status equal to delivered. So this is the condition, that is whenever status is delivered, that is it is delivered, and whenever that condition is wrong, it will take the second value or the third argument inside the parenthesis, that is in transit. So even if we run this query, we will get the same result. Execute this. Now we can see that we have a new column created which is called as is delivered, and inside the column we have two values only, which is delivered and in transit. So this is our second tip where we can make use of the IIF instead of case statement to implement Boolean logic. Now coming to our third tip, which is drag and drop columns. Consider that we have a table where we have more number of columns. For example, let it be 20 columns. So it would be difficult for us to type in the individual column names in order to write some queries. So what we can do instead is that, let me go to this database where I have the customer order table, which is int underscore questions, and the table is customer order. Expand this. So instead of manually writing the column names, we can actually drag and drop this column names from the left hand object explorer. So here we have only 3 columns in the parent table. So actually, even typing these column names are easy, but consider that we have more number of columns. Let me check for a column which has more number of, sorry, for a table which has more number of columns. Yeah, we'll take this world indicator. Let me try this. Yeah, see, in this world indicator table, I have many number of columns. So individually writing these column names is very difficult. So rather what I can do is I can simply drag and drop the column from the object explorer so that I can see every columns within that particular table. So this is our third tip. Then moving down, our fourth tip is, consider that we want to get all the details of columns in a particular table. So in that case, what we can do is we can execute a store procedure which is inbuilt in SSMS or SQL Server, and we can get all the details with respect to that table. So the stored procedure is sp underscore columns followed by the table name, whichever we want the details. Execute this, we will get the result. Where we can see we have the table name, and this is the database name. Then we have the column names with respect to that table. Then the data type. This data type column gives us the number with respect to some data type, but we actually have the type name also. So we have variable character columns in the customer order table. Similarly, we have the precision, length, then if it's nullable or not, and there are many other columns as well. Whenever we require details with respect to a table without writing any complex query, we can make use of this stored procedure, which is sp underscore columns. Execute sp underscore columns followed by whichever table you want the details. This is our fourth tip. And coming down, our final tip. So this is something with respect to the distinct keyword. So there is an alternative to distinct keyword which we can use in SQL. Whenever we are writing some complex queries, using distinct is not recommended, because it will definitely hinder the performance of the query. So in that case, what we can do is we can use the group by clause. Before executing the query with group by clause, let me execute this query with distinct. Execute this, we have distinct from the status column. Now we can get the same result using group by clause, that is select status column from customer order table and simply write a group by clause based on the same column status, and execute this, we'll get the same result which we got in the previous query with the distinct keyword. So we have the distinct status from the status column from customer table. These are the 5 tips which I thought of sharing in this video, and there are many more tips that I can share, but sharing 20-25 tips in a single video will definitely confuse. So we will see more tips in another video. Thanks for watching.